Okay, let us make a start. And once again, if you can just indicate to me if you can see my screen. Pamela and Sheila, can you see my screen?
Yes.
What about Madam Annette? Okay, maybe Annette has muted herself. Lingus and Angela?
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I have shared my screen, so anytime you're not seeing it, please just feel free to interrupt and let me know that you're not seeing my screen. Right, once again, I welcome each and every one of you who was training in this afternoon to semester 2. This semester, you will be having 3 courses, and one of them is the EDBT 211, which will run about 5 weeks, and then after 5 weeks, you will have EDBT, EDIE 211. It's an inclusive course, and you have lunch, which I assume have already started. This afternoon, what we are going to do is we're going to go through the course outline for EDBT 211, Multigrade Teaching and Assessment, and also we will cover the topics, the subtopics for this week. So without further ado, we will jump straight into the course outline for this semester. The course description for this course, the goal is EDBT 211. The course title is Multigrade and Assessment. The credit points for this course is 15 credit points. According to the VQA, it is a level 6 course. You do not have any prerequisite for this course, and you do not have a prerequisite for this course. Course learning outcomes by the end of this semester, or by the end of doing this course, you as a learner or as a student should be able to 1, demonstrate an understanding of the characteristics of a multiple teaching and assessment of teaching and learning. Number 2, apply principles and concepts of multigrade teaching and assessment in a multigrade context. Number 3, show confidence in dealing with multigrade teaching strategies and learning. And number 4, work collaboratively with stakeholders in promoting multigrade teaching. Without further ado, let's move on to the assessment for this course. Today, we're just going to look at the outlines of the assessments. This course, you will have 3 assessment tasks. First one is an essay, the second one is a portfolio, and the third one is an exam. So as you can see on the screen, the essay is worth 35%, the portfolio is worth 35%, and the exam is worth 50%. Moving on to our course delivery for this semester, please take note, a copy of this is already uploaded in a Moodle in the introduction page. Due to the fact that you will have 3 courses, and also for the respect that we have to you as a practicing teacher, this course will take less time because most of the content are not new to you. They are things that we will refer to as review. So this is week 1, from the 29th as of yesterday to the coming Friday. This is week 1. Week 2 is from the 5th to the 9th of September, which is next week. Week 3 is from the 12th to the 16th of September. Week 4 is the 19th to the 23rd of September. Week 5 is 26th to the 30th of September. Week 9 to 14, we will not have any more session, but you will be working on your portfolio, which will be portfolio assessment, which is due on Friday, the 11th of November. So as you can see on the screen, what exactly are we looking at? This course covers only 2 major topics, and each one of them comprised of 12 subtopics relate respectively, which we will look at shortly. Also in this course, as you can see on my screen, our first assignment, the reflective essay, is due in week 3, which is the 12th or the 16th of September. Your assignment number 2 is a test on exam, which is the end of September. And also the third one, the portfolio, which is an assessment portfolio, is due by the end of the semester. And more importantly, it will be due by the time you're done with your assessment for your respective classrooms. So as I've already mentioned, there are only 2 major topics in this course, multi-grade teaching, and the next one is assessment. Multi-grade teaching and its subtopics. There are 12 subtopics for multi-grade. The first one is, what is a multi-grade classroom and what are its policies? B, benefits and challenges of multi-grade teaching. C, classroom management. D, disciplinary management. E, management of the space and organization of the classroom layout. F is teaching and learning in multi-grade classes. G, methods and teaching approaches in multi-grade classrooms. H, elements of definitions of cooperative work and its component. I, the role of the teacher and the student in structuring collaborative work. J, curriculum planning in a multi-grade classroom. K, the use of one or two national syllabus, primary years 1 to 6, and teacher's guide for all subjects for year 1 to 6 in a multi-grade classroom. And the last one is planning for instruction. Major topic 2 and its subtopics. In assessment, we look at definition and purpose of monitoring, assessment and evaluation, the historical view of different approaches of assessment, assessment topology and strategies, assessment principles and standard and policy assessment policy, standardized assessment in 102. We look at Bloom and Solo taxonomy, assessment tools and blueprint planning, blueprint for formative and summative assessment, development of assessment tasks, designing assessments, recording, interpreting, and reporting assessments, and the last one is using assessment results to inform teaching and learning. For this week, week 1, we're looking at major topic 1, multi-grade teaching is subtopic. Because of the duration that we have, and also, as I've mentioned it, with your with respect to your experience as experienced teachers, most, and some of you may be teaching multi-grade right now, we're going to go into the details and separate subtopics by week, but we will be covering a lot of them each week. So this week we are covering 6 subtopics, as you may have noticed in the Moodle population. So we're looking at what is multi-grade classroom and what are its policies. B, we're looking at the benefits and challenges of multi-grade teaching. C, we're looking at classroom management. D, disciplinary management. E, management of the space and organization of the classroom layout. And F, teaching and learning in multi-grade classroom. So, as you can see, we're going to just go through the summary of what are the subtopics that we're looking at this week. First one, the first subtopic or subtopic A for multi-grade major topic, multi-grade teaching. What is the multi-grade classroom and what are its policies? Multi-grade classes, as you all know by definition, multi-grade teaching is the teaching that occurs in multi-grade classes, and it differs from monograde or single grade. There are also what we can call multi-grade classes that it comprises of different classes in a room, and we also have multi-age class. So the difference between two is one is about the grade and one is about the ages of the different children. They share the same teacher in a room. As stated by Wolf and Frazier 2000 and Cohen 2002, they refer to multigrade class as class where 2 or more different levels learn in one classroom with one teacher. The other side, we have policies of multigrade settings. As you may have noticed that in regards to and respect to the policies of education in our country, there is no specific multigrade policy. So we're just bringing in the objectives of what exactly are we talking about when we look at the multigrade setting. They are, the aim of multigrade settings are: 1, the creation of access to education for all children. Number 2, bring school closer to communities. Number 3, overcome the shortage of teachers. Number 4, modernize teaching methods. Number 5, reduce dropout and repeater rates. And number 6, increase the participation and literacy rates. This is according to Multigrade Teaching 2003. So what is a multigrade classroom and what are its policies? But in this case, we're only looking at the principles of multigrade. If you're looking at my screen, I'm just going to go through them. Basic principles of multigrade teaching. 1 is children are unique. Okay, the principles of why are or what is and why are we implementing multigrade? 1, we need to bear in mind that children are unique. Number 2, children can learn best from experience. Number 3, children can learn and do well from one another. Number 4, the role of the teacher in the classroom involves setting, either setting up and managing a learning environment that will be conducive to teaching and learning, or learning and teaching. So in short, exactly why do we look at multigrade and its policies and aims, and we should bear in mind that everything that we do in a multigrade setting is to respect the students, but also to bring education to them, so that regardless of where they are, they have access to education. Regardless of their age, they have the right to be educated as well. Subtopic B, look at the benefits and challenges of multigrade teaching. Firstly, we will look at the benefits. First one is, benefit of multigrade is that it helps to develop students' social, emotional, and verbal skills in self-esteem. Second point, enable students to learn at their own pace. The next one is building a caring, child-centered, and project-based learning environment and improving. The next one, the benefits also goes to show that we can put learning at the center, both socially and academically. And also, let's not forget that the older students in the class help to teach the younger students by modeling more sophisticated, complex problem solving and critical thinking. So it's becoming like a big family of different age group, different grade levels, all learning together in one thing. But as we look at the challenges, the benefits, there are also challenges. Teachers in multigrade settings face challenges such as inadequate training. With respect to our training days, we do not really get enough training as to how to teach in a multigrade setting. We were taught through teaching mono classroom or single classrooms. So most times it's to do with teachers' creativity and the willingness to serve the children by providing education to them regardless of their lack of training. The next one is social and cultural isolation. Challenges that we can face is that how do you share the problems that you're facing? Maybe sometimes there might also be just one group of the same children from the same place. So they might be culturally isolated to other children from other cultures as well. The next one is instruction. You have to keep repeating yourself as a teacher. You have to repeat your instruction over and over for one particular year level within the room, and also making sure that routines are carried out accordingly. The next one should be lack of time. Sometimes it's teachers run out of time trying to complete everything because they want to help each and every single child in the room. And the last one is the lack of community understanding and the rural nature of most of the multi-grade settings. Sometimes communities do not understand that multi-grade is challenging, that we still need the help either to supervise, either to assist, either to just make sure that learning is happening. So as these challenges arises, sometimes it becomes too much for the teacher unless they sit well. Classroom management in multi-grade setting. As we may have seen a lot of details of classroom management skills in EDBS 112, they're more or less the same as in single classroom, except classroom management is the process that we need to maintain appropriate behavior of students in a different setting. Teachers may use strategies and skills to make students engage in classroom activities. Effective classroom management will help to provide a good academic environment despite that they are a mix of age and profile year levels. Moreover, the classroom management skills will help to enhance the behavior and the learning of each of the students. In addition, they may differ to the single ones, probably in case of the subject, the age, or the teaching tools that teachers use for different lessons. Subtopic D, disciplinary management. The word discipline itself refers to creating control in behavior. While management is about controlling or managing the behavior, discipline is about controlling the behavior. So discipline is really a set of living according to a set of rules and guidelines. So as we know that in multi-grade, there are multiple number of children. They could be different age group, different grade level. So there's their behavior as well. So it's really important for us teachers to set rules, guidelines, and make sure that you have consequences of disobeying or breaking the rules. What will they be? And as we can see around us today, that the young ones may learn attitudes or behaviors modeled by the older children in the class. So it is important that right from the beginning, set your rules, make sure that you abide by them for the year so that learning is easier. And remind the older ones that they are the ones who should be setting good role modeling or good behavior to the little ones that they're learning with in the classroom. The second last one is management of the space and organization of the classroom layout. There are two ways of looking at this. The first one is the physical room. Just like management and discipline, the space that we have in a room together for different levels, make sure that everybody have access to physical materials, or we can say the usual facilities that each child is entitled to, a chair, a desk, a space to sit down, or a space to move around. But more importantly, how do we manage them? How do we organize space so that we have our resources at the right place? They know there's a reading corner, there's a science corner, there's a place to play as well, and there's a place to be alone. So we can have spaces for collaborative learning, where we learn together in a group. We can also make sure that wherever we're studying, and we can differentiate our instruction. Today, maybe we're doing a whole class teaching. Tomorrow, we might do a single class teaching. Or we might do smaller group teaching. And whatever we're doing, make sure that we're connecting it to the teaching of real life situation. Because multi-grade, in a way, it is about raising children to make sure that they can survive in a situation where there are different sets of people. So when we look at our village setting or our church context or situation, actually they are multi-grade settings. So this is not new to children from 1 or 2. The other one that can help us in our teaching and management is integrating technology in teaching and flexibility. If we have access to internet or we have access to ICT tools such as projectors, computers, or tablets, we can make use of them so that we can differentiate the learning according to the levels of the students and the ability to learn in the classroom. And last one, flexibility. There are times that we can either use the room inside or we can move outside and gather kids to sit under a tree or a shade of a big plant in the classroom, so that, sorry, a big plant or a tree outside the classroom so that they can also learn as well. But more importantly, we can take them out on excursion so that they learn not just from us as multi-grade teacher, but also from other people as well. There are two questions that are raised here as well. What is space in a classroom? The spaces in which we can read, we can think, we can write, and we can also communicate our feeling. Children feel ownership and responsibility for the spaces in the classrooms that have been designed for their use when they have access to them. And this will contribute to the spaces maintenance. So if today there are people who are writing in the writing corner, they will be the one responsible for cleaning up the writing area. If there are people who are sitting at the reading corner, they should be the one responsible for setting up the reading corner. There's space for people who are manipulating blocks or playing or having a free throwing session. They should be the ones, because we give them ownership, they're also responsible to make sure that those places are clean and other people can, other students in the classroom can have access to them as well. The last point over here, it says, how does space affect learning? Students' learning is greatly impacted by the setup of your classroom. And for this regard, make sure there's enough light, there's enough ventilation. And also the desks assigned to these children, they should be at the right level where no one is tiptoeing, or it is either too short for tall students or older students in the classroom. Students' learning is greatly impacted by the setup of the room, so we must make sure that how we set up can also engage them as well. Where do they want to sit? Either in the middle, on the sides of the room, or whereas can they have access to other materials or resources in the classroom? Students' perception and readiness to engage in a room, classroom are affected by the physical space of the room and where that it directs attention. So make sure that there is enough ventilation in spaces, but as well as displays and resources that they can easily move around to have access to at all times. The screen is playing up. Our last subtopic for this week is teaching and learning in multi-grade classes. I'm going to ask you to go back to your slides from EDBS 112, the set of different teaching strategies that we have covered when you know about multi-grade, constructivism, behaviorism, and many others. I think there's about 8 or 9 of them that we look at in EDBS 112. This afternoon, I'm just going to remind you again that all those teaching strategies can also be applied in multi-grade setting as well, except for the fact that we need to know and we need to differentiate it. When am I going to use this teaching strategy? Is it going to be helpful and ensure that children are learning? So our skills and our behavior that is required of teachers can be different according to the activities. And also we need to make sure that we are planning a multiple set of activities every day, so that children do not go off task where you are explaining to probably a lower class. The higher class might or have already completed their work. You need to move on. So you make sure that learning activities are available all the time. The other thing is the difference between the classroom, a single classroom and multi-classroom is that there is a more product of socialization and expectation than of the fact. What does this mean? It means that you get to know each and every one of the students, regardless of the class they are in. socializing with them, getting to know them, what background they come from. It's easy because you're always there with them. Next one, when student diversity increases, whether it be in a multi-grade or single grade classroom, greater demand is placed on teachers, resources, both cognitive and emotional. It means we're not going to place our emphasis. For example, if we get used to teaching year 5 and all of a sudden we're given either year 6 or a lower grade teacher alongside year 5, we need to be mentally prepared in order to teach those 2 different levels or 3 different levels. And also our emotions play as well. Do we respect them as they are? Can we switch from teaching the lower primary and the higher primary at the same time? Or how do we differentiate teaching year 2s and year 3s with respect to the syllabus of the different year levels? Next one, multi-grade teachers recognize that whole class instruction must revolve around open task activities with all students at the inputs. For example, if it's the language time, probably first thing in the morning, students, regardless of the class, can be asked to brainstorm their ideas. The teacher can go around and check what are they writing, what are the little ones writing, what are the bigger ones writing, so that you save time to much instruction before you ask all the class to go over and do the task in more detail. For the little ones, you keep the instruction short and simple. And the last one, cooperation is a necessary condition of life in the multi-grade classroom. All ages become classmates, and this closeness extends beyond the walls of the school to include the community. Beginning of the year, you as the teacher, probably the principal of the school, should talk about the expectation of the multi-classroom or multi-grade classes combination with the parents, so that they understand that my child is attending a multi-grade class this year. What is my role in ensuring that he or she is learning? Also, how can I assist the teacher to make sure that they enjoy teaching our child in a multi-grade setting? So that way, when they are aware, they can offer their help, and also you can request help from time to time if you need them to. Otherwise, this brings us to the end of our session for this afternoon. I'm going to stop talking or sharing my screen. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask before we end the session for today. You can unmute yourself. Welcome to those of you who just joined us this afternoon. As you are aware that this session is recorded, which means that if you missed out at the beginning, Mr. Lawi will upload the recorded session again another time, and you can always follow. Any questions?
Good afternoon, Ms. Effrel.
Good afternoon, Rachel.
Thank you very much for what you have taught this afternoon. I want to ask you if you could just explain a little bit about the forum discussion question, the second one, about the current policies according to the Ministry of Education and Training regarding multi-grade teaching. The forum questions.
Thank you, Rachina. Galaxy A02, can you, I think it's unmute. Oh, there's a group who's talking. Anyway, your question is regarding the forum. First one, is it about the policies of multi-grade, if I'm correct, right, Rachina? Regina, can you still hear me?
Okay, yes, that's the one. Sorry.
Okay, I want you, each and every one of you listening in, if you have access to our current Ministry of Education and Training education policy. If you can find part of the policy that talks about Multigrade and quote it in your forum. Excuse me, in the forum discussion. See if you can find in our Ministry of Education policy, see if you can find any statement in relation to policy. Any statement in the policy that relates to multi-grade. That is what I was asking you to relate to or refer to in the forum discussion. If you can find anything on multi-grade. Am I clear, Regina?
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Do you have any question? No questions?
Mrs. Effrel,
Yes.
I'm not sure whether you can hear me or not.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead, Madam Manet.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for the nice presentation about this multi-grade teaching. It's interesting for me because I have been teaching for about more than 20 years now, but I've never been in a multi-grade classroom. So for the forum, I think the first question asked us to share our experience in the classroom concerning this multi-grade teaching. And I'm not really sure because I've never been this multi-grade classes before. Should I just explain how I think about my opinion, or I'm not sure?
Thank you, Annette. There are two ways of saying it. One is ask yourself as a primary student, were you ever been taught in a multi-grade setting? You can use that as an experience. The second one is, even though for most of us, or some of us, who have not had the experience of teaching in multi-grade setting, we can always ask other people around us what is their experience when they were teaching or are teaching in multi-grade setting. So it's just not if asking for opinions, it's or giving or suggest that this is how a multi-grade setting will be. It's like just assuming, but it's good to relate to someone. So for those of us who have not had the experience of teaching a multi-grade, ask around teachers who are either teaching with you or talk to someone who is not doing the course but is or have experience in teaching multi-grade. What is their experience or what was their experience of teaching multi-grade? So that at least we refer to something that is true and it's within our context rather than assuming. Is that okay, Annette?
Yes, thank you so much. It's clear. Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Effrel.
Sure. Any more questions? Any others who have any question? Excuse me. No question? Okay, if there's no question, I'm just going to remind you, or each and every one of us, that due to the short period that your term will be short in term 3. So will the semester, and especially for this course. So it's really important that you start doing your task or start attending to readings. The good news is I did not apply any restriction to your readings or the video. So there is no restriction because I'm trusting that you are a responsible student and also an experienced teacher at your own time between now and week 5, end of September. Take note of this, gentlemen. End of September, you have only 1 month to complete this course. Because November and December, you will have another, sorry, October and November, you will have another course, EDIE. So, which is why we are speeding up multigrade this time, because this is not something that should be new to you. Even though we call it multigrade, the strategies applied is very similar to single teaching or single classrooms. So this is week 1. Next week is week 2, week 3, week 4, and week 5. By the end of week 5, we will have an exam, and then you have just one assessment task left, which is due in November. So whichever free time that you have, make sure that you go to our Moodle page, download your readings, the videos, and attend to the forums. The forums, there are 2 ways of how you're looking at it. I will repeat myself. It's evaluating yourself and reflecting on your own learning, and also for me to track who is active in this course and who is not. Last semester, we enrolled about 101. By the end of the semester, there's only about 35 people who are submitting their assignments. So make sure that you're not one of them. It's really a shame to lose people, but it's up to you to determine whether you're really serious about your learning or you're just here to make excuses. Remember, at the end of the day, this is about you and your upgrading. It's not about us. So if you're thinking that, yes, you want to continue, I would like to see you participating in forums and also attending Zoom session as well. And before I finish off, our Zoom will continue as usual every Tuesday from 3:30 to 4:30. It's only once a week. And also because I'm having face-to-face classes from Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So the only time that I'm free is Tuesday and Thursdays. And those are the days that I will give to you as my online students. So please make sure that while I'm doing an effort from my end, make sure that you're doing your effort from your end as well. Next week is really important that you join the Zoom because we will be discussing assignment number 1. So if you don't want to miss out, make sure that you tune in and join in the others. Otherwise, thank you so much to each and every one of you. Agnes, the Galaxy 2 gentlemen, there's about 3 of them. We also have another Galaxy A02S. We have Annette, Liza, Lewas, Neti, Pamela, someone with Realme C31, Regina, Sheila, and Lingus. I have seen Lingus raise their hand. Lingus, if you're still hearing me, you can go ahead and ask your question or give your comment.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation and thank you for the announcements. I've just got one question to ask about the registration. For those of us who have sent out registration and are not on the list that Mr. Lawi has put up on the page, when are we going to access the EPD 211?
Okay, I cannot really answer as to why you're not on the list. I checked with the assistant deputy, the person in charge of enrollment, and she said that it should be okay. Students who are on the CES list, TNBF loan, whatever, they should be okay with the enrollment. It's probably just some misunderstanding. The second one is someone asked me about it this morning and she went and logged in. So Liz, you do not have access to the course yet? Have you tried logging
Not yet.
in?
I've tried this morning, but I didn't get through. I can't access that, but I haven't tried this afternoon.
Okay, I will check. EDPT, can you see all the course or just EDPT that you're not seeing? EDPT 211.
All the courses for semester 2.
Okay, so we have Linus. Thank you, Linus. I will find out why you're not accessing it, then I'll let you know. Okay. Are you on the?
Thank you.
Sorry, just my last question. Are you on the CES list? Are you on the PNBF list? Linus? Are you sponsored or just self-sponsored?
Sponsored. SC says sponsored.
Okay. I will check with administrators and let you know why you're not accessing. Anyone else joining this afternoon who's having similar problem? Cannot access the course?
Liza too.
Okay, Liza, I think you need to call. Is it Liza or yes? Liza, I checked and she said you need to contact the finance officer to sort out some key issues from semester 1.
Okay.
Any others who has or have not yet have access to the courses?
Mrs. Effrel,
Yes.
I think I have access to, but this one there I did not. I can't access it. I'm not sure about the code number there. I think it's the first one. I'm not sure what code number is it.
Right now, you should be able to have access to LAT 211 or LAT 121.
Yes. I've accessed that one.
EDPT 211. You should only have access to 2 at the moment. The third one will come around in October.
Okay.
So if you should at least see 2 courses.
Yeah.
EPD 211 and also LAT 121, is it?
Yes. Yeah, I have accessed those 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the 2 that you should be able to access. LAT 121.
Yes.
And 121.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And
Thank you.
In October, you should have the third one, EDPT, EDIE 211.
Yeah.
It should be visible in October, not this month.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Effrel.
Any others with any other question? Just a friendly reminder. If you are one of those that is sponsored or is under the CES sponsorship, but you are not submitting assignments. This is like someone is, you're paying for a loan, but you're not putting any effort. Also, for those of you in semester 1, that we did not receive any assignment from you, and yet we are seeing you being enrolled in semester 2. With due respect, make sure that you complete the course, because otherwise, we have already given you a fail grade for semester 1. But because you are allowed to enroll in semester 2, just make sure you pull up your socks. Otherwise, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money. It's not about us, it's about you. And A friendly reminder again before I forget, I do not and won't tolerate last minute excuses this semester. By end of this semester, make sure that 2 of the 3 assignments should be submitted. Only the last one, the portfolio, should be submitted in November. So manage your time and make sure that you are serious about your study. Any more last comment or question before we finish for this afternoon? Anyone?
Good afternoon.
Go ahead, Caroline.
I just want to know about the says have they already paid for the fee for semester 1?
Thank you, Caroline. That is not my place to tell you whether it has been paid or not. Each one of you need to contact the finance officer. If they come and ask them or email them. The email addresses are in the chat group. Ask them because they are personal and confidential information between each one of you and the administration. So you check with them whether the fees have been paid or not.
Okay, thank you.
Your question? Any more? But if there is none, we are going to end the session. I am going to find the way is. I have stopped the recording, so you can. I have stopped the recording, but I have not stopped the Zoom session yet. So if you want to greet your friend or say good night.